John Goss knows what it takes to win Bathurst.
Remember when Ford ruled the streets of Australia? Back when the roar of a V8 or the whistle of a turbocharged straight six echoed through suburban nights, and the Falcon badge was more than just a logo. These machines weren't built in a boardroom. They were built in Broadmeadows and Geelong by people who understood exactly what Australian drivers wanted: power, toughness, and attitude. From the early GTs that shook Bathurst to the final sprints that closed the chapter of Australian Ford manufacturing, each of these cars carries a piece of our automotive history, and some of them, including number 2 on this list, became legends the moment they touched the road. So buckle up. We're counting down the 7 greatest Australian Ford cars ever made, and number 1, even Holden fans respect it. Number 7, 1966 Ford XR GT. This is the car that started it all. The very first Falcon GT, the moment Ford decided Australia deserved more than just a family sedan. The XR GT introduced V8 performance to everyday Australians. Painted in its unmistakable GT gold, it became an instant icon the moment it rolled onto the scene. Under the bonnet sat a 289 Windsor V8, imported straight from the US but tuned for Aussie roads. Rough, punishing, and unpredictable. But this car didn't just look tough, it proved itself at Bathurst in 1967, taking victory and announcing Ford's arrival as a true performance powerhouse. This was the birth of the GT legend, the spark that ignited decades of rivalry, passion, and noise. Without the XR GT, none of the cars higher on this list would exist. Number 6, 1992, Ford EB Falcon GT. 2 decades after the first GTs conquered Mount Panorama, Ford revived the legendary badge, and the EB GT was their bold return to glory. Built in partnership with Tickford, the EB GT wasn't subtle. Bright colors, aggressive bodywork, wide stance. It demanded attention, and the 5.0-liter injected V8 under the bonnet delivered the muscle to back it up. In an era where performance sedans were fading, the EB GT brought the fight back. It reignited Ford's identity in the 90s and reminded Australians that the GT badge still meant something. It's a rare car today, and collectors treat it with the respect it earned. The rebirth of a legend and the beginning of Ford's modern performance revival. Number 5, 1973 Ford XA Falcon GT Hardtop. When you think of Australian muscle, the Falcon XA GT Hardtop is pure adrenaline on wheels. Sleek curves, long hood, and a thunderous 351 V8 made it one of the most intimidating cars ever to hit the open road. This was the first Falcon fully designed and built in Australia, and it showed. The XA's aggressive stance and bold color scheme screamed Aussie pride. It wasn't just about power, it was about presence. The XA GT Hardtop became the star of Australian pop culture, most famously appearing in Mad Max, forever linking it to speed, rebellion, and survival. On the track, it roared down Bathurst with unstoppable fury, challenging anyone brave enough to chase it. This was the car that made people turn their heads and dream big. The kind of machine that looked just as good parked at the pub as it did tearing through the outback. Number 4, 1969 Ford XW Falcon GT-HO Phase 1. The name alone still gives car lovers chills. The Falcon GT-HO Phase I marked the beginning of Ford's domination in Australian motorsport. With its 351 Cleveland V8 and raw, untamed power, it wasn't just fast, it was fierce. This car represented the start of a rivalry that would define Australian car culture for decades. Every rev was a statement, every race a war between Ford and Holden fans. You're not ready for what's coming next. Number 3, 2014 Ford FG-X Falcon XR6 Turbo, the bearer-powered weapon that shocked the world. This car didn't rely on old-school V8 grunt. It had something better. A brutally strong 4.0-liter inline-six with a turbocharger that turned it into a silent assassin. Smooth, refined, and unbelievably quick, this car could run with sports sedans twice its price. What made it legendary wasn't just its speed, it was its potential. Tuners discovered the Barra could handle power levels that would destroy most engines. Overnight, the XR6 Turbo became a cult hero, feared on the streets and adored at the track. In the final years of Ford manufacturing in Australia, the XR6 Turbo became proof that we still knew how to build something world-class, a modern masterpiece and one of the best Falcons ever made. Number 2, 2016 Ford Falcon XR8 Sprint. When Ford Australia knew the end was near, they didn't slow down. They doubled down. The XR8 Sprint was the final roar, a supercharged Miami 5.0 V8 sending shockwaves through the automotive world. This wasn't just fast, it was one of the quickest Australian sedans ever built. Every part of the Sprint felt special. Sharper suspension, improved cooling, upgraded brakes, and power figures that made European performance cars look overpriced. This was Ford signing off with a mic drop. The XR8 Sprint wasn't just a Falcon, it was a farewell gift, a reminder that Australia could build something truly extraordinary right up until the final days. Number 1, 1971 Ford Falcon XY GT-HO Phase 3. The legend that still sends shivers down the spine of every car enthusiast in Australia. The Ford Falcon XY GT-HO Phase 3 wasn't just fast, it was untouchable. When it debuted, it was officially the fastest four-door production car in the world. Let that sink in, a family-sized Australian sedan outpacing global sports cars. Under the hood lay a 351 cubic inch V8, capable of pushing the car to 228 kilometers per hour. It dominated Bathurst in 1971 with Alan Moffat behind the wheel, creating one of the most memorable victories in motorsport history. Ford had built a monster that changed the rules forever. Every curve, every roar of that engine symbolized pure power and ambition. For many Aussies, this wasn't just a car, it was a dream on wheels, proof that Australia could take on anyone, anywhere. Today, collectors treat it like treasure, with pristine models selling for over $1 million. This car didn't just define an era, it created a legend. And there they are, the 7 greatest Australian Fords ever made. From the first GT that started the legend to the final Sprint that ended an era, these cars shaped our roads, our memories, and our culture. They weren't just machines, they were a part of who we were and who we still are. If you enjoyed this journey through Australia's Ford legacy, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with your mates, because these cars may be gone, but their roar will echo for generations.